Ever wondered if the sawfish is actually an alien from the deep space just hiding in our oceans? Now that's a question that might have you scratching your head, but hold on to your snorkels because we're about to dive deep into this out-of-this-world theory. When we think of aliens, we often imagine beings with physical attributes that are far removed from what we know. Now let's take a look at our friend, the sawfish. They're not your typical guild neighbors. These creatures are equipped with an elongated snout lined with sharp teeth, a feature so unique that it seems straight out of a sci-fi movie. This snout, or rostrum as it's scientifically called, isn't just for show. It serves as an effective tool for hunting, allowing the sawfish to slash its prey with a swift side-to-side motion. But that's not all. The rostrum is also covered with small pores that can sense electric fields. Yes, you heard that right, electric fields. Now this might not seem like a big deal, but consider this. Electric field sensing isn't something you'd typically find in your everyday fish. Sharks, rays, and a handful of other marine creatures possess this ability, but it's not common. So, does this make the sawfish an alien? Not necessarily, but it does make them incredibly unique. But let's not stop there. The sawfish has more up its sleeve, or rather, up its rostrum. While most fish rely on their gills to breathe, the sawfish can also breathe through spiracles located behind their eyes, allowing them to survive in oxygen-poor environments. Isn't that something you'd expect from an alien adapting to Earth's oceans? So, are these saw-nosed creatures just fish with a flair for the dramatic? Or could they be saulians from another galaxy? Well, we're just getting started, so keep your diving gear on as we delve further into this intriguing theory. Why is it that we suspect these sawfish as extraterrestrial beings? Let's dive deeper. Now there's something fishy about sawfish, and it's not just their peculiar saw-like snouts. These creatures are swimming in mystery, with unique adaptations and behaviors that set them apart from any other marine species. And when you start to unravel these enigmas, you might find yourself questioning, are these just fish, or are we dealing with saulians? Take a moment to consider their unique tool, the rostrum, or as you and I might call it, the saw. This isn't just a fancy nose job. This appendage is a highly specialized tool, armed with a series of sharp teeth, used in hunting and navigation. Other fish have noses, sure, but a saw? That's cutting edge. It's as if they've taken a page out of a woodworker's handbook rather than Mother Nature's playbook. And then there's their behavior. Sawfish, unlike most fish, are bottom dwellers. They prefer the murky depths, out of sight from prying eyes. It's almost as if they're hiding something, isn't it? And when they do decide to surface, it's usually at night. Now, I'm not saying they're nocturnal alien spies, but if the fin fits, their reproductive process too is out of this world. Sawfish give birth to live young, a trait shared by only a handful of other fish species. It's almost as if they're following a different set of evolutionary rules. You know, it's not every day you see a fish that sawed its way through the entire evolutionary process. And let's not forget their lifespan. These creatures can live up to 50 years. A longevity that's quite rare among marine species. It's like they're in it for the long swim, or should we say the long space cruise. With all these peculiar traits, it's hard not to suspect that sawfish are swimming with secrets. It almost makes you wonder if they're not just residents of our oceans, but visitors from a galaxy far, far away. So, are these sawfish or saulians? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Now, let's look at the alien abilities of our saw-toothed friends. When it comes to the sawfish, they're not just cruising around the ocean with a saw for a face for the fun of it. Oh no, they've got some serious skills that make them the envy of the marine world. Let's start with the saw itself, also known as a rostrum. This isn't just a fancy facial accessory, it's a precision instrument used in hunting and defense. Imagine this, a school of fish is swimming around minding their own business when suddenly whoosh, out of nowhere, a sawfish swings its rostrum with lightning speed, stunning or impaling its prey. It's like a superhero with a built-in weapon, or should we say, Sawman, the fish knight. But that's not all. You see, the sawfish's rostrum isn't just a physical weapon, it's also a sensory organ. It's lined with thousands of tiny sensors called ampullae of Lorenzini. These sensors allow the sawfish to detect electrical signals from other creatures, even when they're hidden in the sand or mud. Now that's a superpower that even Superman would be envious of. So we've got a fish here that can sense its prey without seeing it, strike with deadly accuracy, and defend itself with a built-in weapon. But it doesn't stop there. The sawfish also has the ability to survive in both saltwater and freshwater environments. It's like they've got their own personal Aquaman powers. And let's not forget about their reproduction process. Sawfish, are ovoviviparous, meaning they give birth to live young. The embryos develop inside eggs that remain in the mother's body until they're ready to hatch. It's like an alien life cycle right here on Earth. So whether it's their hunting skills, sensory powers, or unique reproductive process, the sawfish is definitely not your average fish. With these abilities, it's clear these aren't your average fish. They're more like extraterrestrial superfish. So, what's the deal with this sawfish conspiracy, you might ask? Well, let's dive into the deep end and find out. The theory originated from a group of marine enthusiasts who noticed something rather fishy about the sawfish. They pointed out the sawfish's unusual physical characteristics and behavior, suggesting that it might be of extraterrestrial origin. The strange elongated rostrum, the peculiar way they use it to stun their prey, the fact that they're nocturnal. It all seemed a bit out of this world, you could say. The idea quickly caught on, and before you could say sawfish, it was making waves in the marine community. It's not just tinfoil hat wearers who believe in this theory. Some marine biologists are also scratching their heads, probably with a sawfish rostrum. They can't quite explain some of the sawfish's abilities and behaviors, and the more they study it, the more they find themselves in uncharted waters. But of course, not everyone is on board with this theory. There are plenty of skeptics out there ready to debunk it. They argue that the sawfish's unusual characteristics can be explained by evolution and adaptation. They point to the fact that the sawfish is a type of ray, and rays are known for their weird and wonderful shapes and sizes. They also highlight that being nocturnal and using tools to hunt are not unique to the sawfish. So they say, there's no need to look to the stars for answers. And then there are those who are simply amused by the whole thing. They're not sure whether to believe it or not, but they're enjoying the debate. They find it refreshing to see the marine world making such a splash in popular culture. And let's face it, it's a lot more fun to imagine that the sawfish is an alien, rather than just another fish in the sea. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, you have to admit it's a theory that certainly cuts through the usual chatter. So, are sawfish just fish, or are they saulians from another galaxy? Let's dive into the deep end of this theory, shall we? We've journeyed through the murky waters of suspicion, and now it's time to surface with our findings. Let's recap the evidence that might tilt the scales in favor of our sawfish being extraterrestrial visitors. Firstly, we examined the sawfish's distinctive saw-like snout, or rostrum. With a feature that looks more like a sci-fi weapon than a body part, it's easy to see why some might believe these creatures swam straight out of an intergalactic ocean. And it's not just for show either. This rostrum is packed with electroreceptors, allowing the sawfish to navigate its surroundings and detect prey, much like a high-tech alien sensor might. Next, we delved into the sawfish's mysterious capabilities. We're not talking about ordinary fish tricks here, folks. No, we're talking about a fish that can sense the electric fields of other marine life. It's almost as if they're communicating in a language we can't comprehend, a language perhaps from another world. Lastly, we peered into the murky depths of the sawfish conspiracy. The silence around these fascinating creatures is deafening. Could it be a global cover-up? Are our governments in cahoots with these aquatic aliens? Or is it simply that the sawfish, with its alien-like features and abilities, is just too outlandish for the average human to comprehend? From their saw-like snouts to their electric senses, it's hard not to see the extraterrestrial in these underwater creatures. They might not be little green men, but these saulians sure know how to make a splash in our imaginations. So whether you're a marine enthusiast or just a curious bystander, the verdict is in. The sawfish, with its alien-like features and capabilities, is a mystery that continues to intrigue us. So, next time you see a sawfish, remember it might just be an alien hiding in plain sight, or rather, in salt water.